This meeting is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome. We are being broadcast live over YouTube and Channel 12 Van Buren TV. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Kelly. Here. Trustee Boyden. Here. Trustee Martin. Here. Trustee Frazier. Here. Treasury Bud.
Here.
The clerk is present. Supervisor,
Thank you.
we have a quorum.
All right, executive summary. A synopsis of what's going to happen today. We have a consent agenda which begins our board meeting, which is basically our prepaid list. We're paying our electric bill or water bill. It will also on there will be the election inspector payroll list. We had a election. And we'll have approval of a fireworks display permit application for a fireworks display by the Belleville Yacht Club on Saturday, December 6th, with a rain delay date on Sunday, December 7th. There will be a public hearing today to receive public comment on the adoption of a new ordinance. It's an amendment to our development and tax increment finance plan, otherwise known as our Downtown Development Authority. There will be a presentation on the design plan for the front entrance of Van Buren Township Park. There will also be some new business, which would include a discussion on the amendment to the Capital Outlay Road Initiative budget line item for $850,000. That's for a new Morton Taylor Road. There will be a discussion on the first reading of the ordinance for the third amendment to the Downtown Development Authority's TIFA district. Moving on, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Clerk Wright?
Support.
Okay, I got Mr. Boynton, Trustee Boynton. All right, I have a motion, I have support. Hearing no further comments, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Can I get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Through the chair,
Trustee Boynton.
I move that we adopt the consent agenda and approve the following. Board meeting minutes of October 21st, the prepaid lists of October 23rd, October 30th, November 4th, November 6th, November 10th, and the voucher list of November 18th, all of 2025. Election inspector payroll list for November 4th, 2025, special election, and approval of the fireworks display permit application for a fireworks display by Belleville Yacht Club on Saturday, December 6th, 2025, with a rain date of Sunday, December 7th, 2025.
Support.
Okay, I've got a motion, I've got support. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We now are going to go into a public hearing, and during the public hearing, we'll have the DDA director explain what the public hearing is all about to make sure that everybody's clear on that. Can I get a motion to go into a public hearing?
So moved.
Support.
Trustee Boynton, Treasurer Bud. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. We are now in a public hearing regarding the third amendment to the Downtown Development Authority, otherwise known as the Tax Increment Finance Plan for the Van Buren Township DDA. That's a mouthful. Take it.
Thank you, Board. So just a little bit of background. The DDA was established in 1990. As part of that, one of the requirements that the DDA, once established, had to create a development plan. So the current plan that we have was established in 1990 and expires in 2038. Now, there have been a couple of times along the way within the last, 10 years or so, last time being in 2009, that we did a refresh of the plan. So this is going to be our third amendment to the existing plan that was created in 1990. The plan that we are amending is to update the projects, update our project cost, and our tax revenue capture spreadsheets to reflect the growth that the district has seen since 2009. So obviously, a lot of the projects that were completed or have not yet been completed, those cost estimates are very outdated from the '09 cost. And so to make sure that we are budgeting accordingly to reflect the actual cost of what projects would be, to reflect those in our plan, as well as to reflect the revenue that we have seen for the growth. So, as I said, the plan was initiated in 1990. It was last refreshed in 2009. So the district itself will remain the same size as it has been since it was created. On October 7th, the Board of Trustees did approve the Van Buren Township to hold a public hearing on the Third Amendment Development and Tax Increment Finance Plan per requirements of Public Act 57 of 2018. That is the law that the DDA must follow. It is very strict, and it does have a lot of parameters that we have to follow and cannot deviate from. And that is what is reflected in our development and TIF plan. So as part of that public hearing, we sent a notice to each of the property owners within the district. We have 1,161 property owners within the district. So each of them received a letter stating that the public hearing would be held on today's date. We also published that on the website and in the Belleville Independent to comply with PA 57 reporting requirements. As part of the update to the plan, because we have more than 100 residents living in the district, we had to reestablish the Development Area Citizens Council of 9 residents from the township. We did have that board, the council did meet 3 different times. They first went through an orientation to become acclimated with the project and the process in September. They had a joint meeting with the DDA at their last meeting in October, and they met last night to finalize their approval for the plan that you have before you in your packet. So the board will be asked to consider under new business the adoption to the Code of Ordinances. That is in your Muni Code, and that is under Division 2, which relates to when the DDA was established and the plan in place. So as part of this public hearing, we'll be asked to give residents who may want to ask questions in regards to the plan or any clarification just on anything they may have. So I'll go through this, which is a lot, and I apologize because it can be a little confusing with the plan. So our presentation on the plan, it talks about the authority, the purpose, and the background of the DDA and the TIF plan, which is the tax increment finance. Our development plan, our projects, and how we prioritize those, and our asset management, how we budget for items that we've already put in place, and to make sure that we're taking care of the infrastructure and the assets that we have. So the DDA was created back in 1990 under the original Public Act of 157 of 1975. It was recodified in 2018 to be Public Act 57. So it talks about the reason why it was created, which is to prevent property tax deterioration within the district. Talks about eliminating the cause of property tax deterioration and promoting economic growth. It talks about the way that we finance and also the legislative history from 197 of 75 and recodified of 57 of 2018. The board structure and the statutory requirements. So once the board was established, the DDA was established, a board was also established. It is 8 to 12 board members along with the supervisor to provide oversight and control of the authority. Municipalities must designate a development district and create a development plan to support the management and the limited tax-based loss. And that is when the plan was established in 1990. So our permitted activities and financing. So the DDA plans to do construction, renovation, ADA improvements to support economic growth within the district. We can acquire, rent, lease properties to implement development plans effectively within the district. We can operate marketing campaigns and fund load programs and retail incubators to support local business. We can use our tax, revenue bonds, grants, donation, and TIF revenues to finance district development projects. So here is the map of the township. On the map, you will see the red outline. That is the DDA district, which makes up pretty much our Belleville Road corridor from Yost down to the bridge. So in the plan, we have our project descriptions, our cost estimates, and a schedule. So it outlines the location, character, and estimated costs for planned improvements and rehabilitations. Our capital improvement plan also has projects that are aligned with the DDA and the township goals to drive development strategy. Our project required actions, implementation steps are defined to facilitate the successful completion. An estimated completion time and tentative schedule for each project are detailed in the plan. So here you can see a couple of the things that we maintain sidewalks within the district. We have a scheduling flexibility depending on when funds may be available. It may take us several fiscal years to acquire, to save up money to bank in order to do some of these projects. We also do seek out grants. We prioritize them high, medium, and low, and we do give ourselves a little bit of flexibility based on that if funding becomes available for a low rated project, we can move that up more before a high priority. It's just the way the funding lines up, so it does give us that flexibility. And we prioritize the criteria based on quality of life, funding leverage, redevelopment, foundational goals, and job growth. Our annual budget, that is done in conjunction with the Board of Trustees to adopt the DDA budget. Once the DDA board approves their budget, they recommend that approval, and then that is approved as a whole with the township budget. So we take a look at our budget prior to making any decisions on any of our plans, projects that may be in our plan, as well as listed in our capital improvement plan. And we rank them on a high, medium, and low. So high priorities are the Belleville Road Improvement Project. Some of our medium listed are some of our town center site improvements, a potential ring road to support long-term growth, and our low and ongoing projects are burial of power lines, wayfinding signage, ongoing projects that would support business recruitment, retention, and marketing. Plan, we have the spreadsheet. My apologies.
That's for the
In the plan, we have a spreadsheet that lists them from high to low with a description and an estimated cost. From there, we go into our ranking methodology. We look at the quality of life for business and residents within the district and the township, the ability to leverage our tax increment growth, site redevelopment, foundational project goal and development in the plan, implementation from our safe streets and our Belleville Road corridor, our job growth, and any impact for appearance and acceptance in the DDA district. Again, some of our high priority is our Belleville Road corridor. That'll be a project that is a project that is slated for 2026, and that is the corridor along Belleville Road between Tyler and Ecorse, going from a 2-lane to a 3-lane. We have our street installation, concrete joint repairs along the corridor. Several projects that are estimated total cost of $10 million That's signal timing, access road connection, guide signs, pedestrian warning, pavement markings, those types of things. And then our medium projects, town center, site improvements, grant program development, the Belleville Road Access Ring Road Study, construction of the ring road, pedestrian path, roundabouts. And these are all things that are listed in the plan. Doesn't mean that they have to be completed, but it does give us the flexibility by listing them in there when funding does allow. Again, any construction projects have to be worked with Wayne County. It is their infrastructure. Some of our low priority projects, wayfinding, stormwater, traffic signals, placemaking, and the burial of the power lines. Our ongoing projects, marketing, business recruitment, our Aerotropolis technical assistance, and our asset management. And then this is all of our assets that we have currently. These are in 5-year increments, kind of prioritizing them as when we think that we'll need to do some replacements or repairs, kind of gives us the ability to be able to budget accordingly based on our tax capture on when funds will be available. And that will take us to questions.
Okay, so we are in a public hearing, so at this point in time, anybody from the public that wishes to speak on this plan is welcome to come up to the podium and speak about it or whatever else. I assume that you guys got these letters and wanted to speak on this. But I wanted to make sure that you knew what we were talking about. I read that letter 5 minutes ago, a little confusing.
Yeah, I would like to get a copy of this, some of these figures and stuff. They might be online, but it's hard for older people to look stuff up online. I like to have a hard copy of it. I know we spend a lot of money up on Belleville and Ecorse Road. Of course, I live on Ecorse Road. Like grooming that intersection. And years ago, when you put our road in, I think the DDA shared funds for that, if I recall properly. And we had a snow fence up that separated the service drive from Ecorse Road. Now, in the winter when it snows and they plow, the snow comes onto the service drive. All the garbage from Ecorse Road blows onto the service drive. And they cut the grass down there where they got them 150 pine trees. And we didn't get any trees down by our house. We had a couple. And they got all them trees down there, and they groomed that all the time. They never cut our grass. For a few years, they were cutting the grass on the opposite side of the service drive. There's no residents over there, but they'll cut the medium, but they don't cut our grass. And if I don't cut it, it don't get cut, and then all the garbage gets hung up in there, and it's just kind of a mess. And I think they need to spend more money for the residents of the township than businesses and trying to pull businesses in. Just take care of the businesses you got and take care of your residents, or maybe just buy us out and you can build your city of industry. I don't know if you know what that is, but there's a place in California, that's all it is industry. There's no residential development. I know they're going to develop the property across the street, the old Saratoga. The airport bought that, and now they're going to market that. I didn't care for the Slantis development. And you guys get all this money, and I think you waste too much and you don't give enough to the citizens.
Thank you. It's Want to come up?
I'm confused, to be honest with you. I don't really know what's going on. But we're on Morton Taylor Road. That's not nothing to do with the city. I don't get it. We're on this side of 94. Okay, I don't know what you guys are, I don't understand it. I'm lost.
Taylor, where in Morton Taylor?
By Camping World. What? By Camping World, the service drive,
Okay.
northbound service drive.
All right.
Is that, are they gonna do the whole road? Are they talking both
Okay.
sides of the road?
No. So Morton Taylor Road, help me, from Tyler to north to Ecorse is the one section of road that we are going to do. We hopefully are
Or are
going
you
to do.
talking about the
It's
other
before-
side?
Yes, there's I'm getting out of where I'm supposed to be, but there's an agreement with the developer that allows us to save some money. We've got a grant that allows us to get some more money. If we kick in some money, we can literally get Morton Taylor Road done. It's a heavily trafficked one because of Walden Woods. People come down for other subdivisions that get off the freeway at Ecorse. They take it down there. And Robinson uses it. I know Charter uses it. So it's just an opportunity. So we're going to see if the board wants to pave it.
Okay, because it don't deal with us at all. It's all at the other side.
Yeah, it's the other side.
Okay.
Although we are going to get there sooner or later.
Like already now.
We can find
And
some
there's
more
no
grant
speed
money.
limit down through there. It's a dirt road.
Yeah.
We gotta do something about that.
Ultimately, we're going to have to pave it. I mean, it's up to the board, of course.
I understand that, but who's gonna pay for it? Us?
It used to be county and state with through your taxes, your money, but now they make us kick in, and the board has to decide whether they want to kick in or not.
It's time to move, huh?
World's changed.
Well, see, is right, because we'll fight it all the way,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. I just thought, everybody got the map. You can't even see the map. And I was looking at the map and trying to figure out. I'm lost,
Yeah.
That's why I'm down here.
Sorry.
You don't have to say you're sorry, just
Yeah.
get a bigger map. I wanted to see what's going on. And I thought, hell.
Now, the DDA is doing wonderful good around your area. They're putting in sidewalks up and down Tyler Road right now. There's going to be some beautiful stuff up and down there. They've been kicking in roads.
My taxes are gonna go up, right?
No, not one. With your taxes
No,
haven't
You
moved.
guys are saying our taxes are not gonna go up.
You have the lowest taxes in Wayne County.
I'm gonna keep it there.
You're going to. I don't think a single person on this board is, in 10 years since I've been here, nobody's ever mentioned tax going up. And we will not. I don't see any reason to.
I was thought you're gonna change the zoning and all that down to here.
No. But we charge businesses through the nose to come here. Does two things. One, it ensures we get a quality business coming into our community. And two, is it keeps people out. So we don't grow so fast. So when we do get a business, it's a good quality business that pays a fair tax.
That's fine. I don't want us to have to pay the taxes.
Neither do I.
Work for me.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak on the subject of the DDA? Can I get a motion to go out of public hearing? Boynton, Clerk Wright. Here, I've got Trustee Boynton, motion, Clerk Wright, second. Hearing nobody else wanting to speak at the public hearing? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are out of public hearing. Do I have to go back into the regular meeting now?
No. just
Okay,
go
all
right
right.
on. Just move
Should
on.
be looking this way.
We just out.
All right, we are now into correspondence, announcements, and presentations. We're gonna, we'll start with Clerk Leon Wright, who's gonna give a presentation on the healthcare updates.
Yeah, I have a brief 6-month update on our EHIM program, which is a copay program that we adopted. So EHIM stands for Employee Health Insurance Management Incorporated. So back in early 2000s, whatever, I'm trying to remember. So I was elected in 2008. So I've been on the board 17 years for people that don't know, and we haven't raised taxes in 17 years. So, and the supervisor's right, we do have the lowest taxes in Wayne County. I think I was telling somebody that today in the rec center. But some years back, the state adopted a program where communities had to force the employees to pay a certain percentage of the health care. And those percentages was the hard cap, 20%, or the board had to vote and adopt 10%. But back during that time, the township, we decided that we would adopt the 10% to help our employees out, and the board have to adopt that every year. So through our health through our brokerage insurance program, they helped us come up with a third-party administrator called EHIM, which EHIM pays a higher deductible for our employees' insurance. So if they go to the doctor's office, they actually have a $30 copay, but EHIM will pay $20, and they still only pay $10. So because EHIM is based in the rate on actuality who goes to the doctor monthly, other than assuming that prior to that we was assuming that 100% of our employees will use their insurance every month. Well, we know everyone don't go to the doctor every month. So EHIM third-party insurance is based on their cost on who actually goes to the hospital in January, who actually goes in February, and so forth and so forth. So this is a 6-month report, and what you have in front of you, I don't have it on screen. I guess we couldn't do that, but your trustee has it. So I'm just gonna get a quick update. 6 months to date, we have saved, EHIM has saved us $176,360. 10% of employees have their contribution, they pay $128,000. If you add those two together, it totals $304,000. If we hadn't have done that, and let's say we went with the standard model, which charging our employees 20% of the healthcare costs, our healthcare costs us approximately $1.28 million a year. 20% of that, you see, is $256,000. So at a 6-month rate already, 6 months of the year, which our insurance run March 31st through April 1st, we've saved $176,000, which total three. So if we keep on that current rate, the next 6 months should bring us another 167. So let's say 170 to $176,000. If that continues on the standard rate, we'll save $480,000 for the year versus the $256,000 we would have received from charging our employees 20%. So as you see, the program now is about 6 years old. It's working well. Is actually achieving more than we actually thought it would. All we wanted to do was actually break even. We're actually coming out way ahead on this program. So it's a good program, and just wanted to give you an update to see that it's actually working for us. And this is the reason why we vote every year. I think we have to vote in December to continue the 10% with the 10%.
Yeah, that would be December.
Yeah. So this is why we do that. It's a savings to the employee, helps them take home a little bit more money a paycheck, but it also saves us money in the long run. All right?
Thank you. Thank you, Clerk Wright. Director Coburn, could you come up? You've got an announcement for us? And then we'll go to Community Services.
Thank you. I just wanted to remind everyone that tomorrow is our 3rd annual Light Up the Park event. That's at Harris Park, located on Belleville Road next to Aldi. We've got an exciting addition this year. We have, as the focal centerpiece of our park, an 18-foot Norway spruce is in the middle of the park. So we're super excited to have that event. We'll have hot chocolate, cookies, handing out letters to Santa kits for the kids. So the event starts at 6 o'clock with a countdown to illuminate the park at 6:30. Hope to see you there.
All right. Does the board have any announcements before I go to Community Services? No? Come on up, Director Locke. And I think Director, okay, we're now here somewhere. there's our sneaky IT director. So to give you an idea of what they do in our, our building, they send out phishing attacks on people. Today, somebody activated my Apple tracking device and then sent me an email saying, yeah, somebody's got your Apple tracking device, code here to fix it. And I did. Now I have to take a course on how not to get phished.
Uh-huh. So you fell for it, huh?
I did fall for it. Yeah.
Back everything.
You know, I said it directly to him.
I do too.
You know what this is?
So good evening, Board. Please present tonight the vision for proposed improvements to the front entrance area of Van Buren Park. As you may recall, on April 15th of this year, the Board approved the Van Buren Park Front Section Capital Improvement Design Plan, which is funded through the Wayne County Park Millage Project Grant. The project was awarded to PEA Group, a firm that has contributed to several of the township's award-winning projects, including the redesigns of French Landing Park and Quirk Park, as well as the landscape architecture for the Van Buren Community Center. Over the past several months, the Community Services team, in collaboration with Mark Russell, the Senior Project Manager for PEA Group, has been developing concepts to refresh the front section of the park, bringing new amenities, improved accessibility, and enhanced aesthetics to the township's largest park. As part of this process, we engaged the Van Buren Township community through a series of public input sessions held at 3 events during the summer, twice at the Belleville Area Museum during their farmers market, and once at a summer concert at the VBC. Attendees were invited to share their ideas, vote on potential amenities, and provide feedback on what they thought should be added, improved, or reimagined in this section of the park. As you know, this section of the park includes the community garden and the Sled Hill area. The feedback collected through these sessions directly informed the concept design we are presenting this evening. The plan you'll see tonight represents a vision, a framework of potential amenities and features designed to enhance the park experience and strengthen Van Buren Park's role as a destination for residents and visitors alike. This design will be incorporated into the township's upcoming master plan that will be developed in 2026 and will remain flexible to allow for phased implementation, funding opportunities, and evolving community needs. Importantly, this concept plan also provides a foundation for pursuing future grants and partnerships that will help bring this vision to life over the coming years. We have already begun taking meaningful steps to bring this vision to life. The Parks Department has initiated tree clearing along the side of the Sled Hill as part of a plan to add a new bunny slope to the area, as well as the trees along the service drive entrance to improve visibility into the park. We are also developing plans for the new community garden and identifying project elements that the department can complete in-house while exploring potential partnerships and funding support from local groups interested in contributing to the garden's success. In addition, we will be meeting with ADA organizations to gather feedback and strengthen our commitment to provide accessible park spaces for all, partnerships that will also support future grant applications. We are actively researching grant opportunities and scheduling informational meetings to identify funding sources that will align with the design plan. Once specific grants are identified, I will be returning to the board to request formal resolutions of support from the township for inclusion in these grant applications. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Mark Russell from the PEA Group, who will walk us through the design concepts in detail.
What side do you want? How's that?
I'll take this.
All right, cool. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, board. It's nice to be here again in front of you, and hopefully we can produce another award-winning project for you. Van Buren Park, as you know, is 100 acres. The initial effort from from us and Jason and his group is the front 10 acres. So essentially, you've got a little bit more than 10 acres shown there. We did not get into the woodland area and survey that. We're just leaving that essentially alone. But you can see that the park, couple of things with the existing park, as you all know, or maybe some of you don't. The south 94 Service Drive is basically on the north end of the park. And you can't really see the park. You know, if you're driving westbound on the service drive, there's a lot of debris, a lot of shrubbery and trees and overgrown debris that needs to be cleared to create that vision. If you all remember what French Landing used to look like along Haggerty, you couldn't even see in. And now by selectively removing some of the plant material there, you have clear sights not only into the park but also all the way to the lake, which is, I think it turned out awesome. So essentially you've got a main drive, obviously, that goes back to the pavilion area in the middle of the park and then to the beach area along the lake. But basically that bisects the park into two distinct areas. The smaller area is pretty isolated. There's hardly anybody uses that space. It's to the west of the existing entry shack, the guard shack. And then also the larger the east side is just a vast open space. There's no landscaping. There's virtually two components that Jason mentioned. You've got a sledding hill and you've got a community garden, both of which need a little bit of love. But hopefully we can do that incrementally and baby steps to make it exciting for folks while we seek grants to help us develop the balance of the park or the phases of the park. The only two structures, as I mentioned, the guard shack and then you also have the maintenance facility there, which anchor the east side of the property. We do have, you can see sort of in the bottom portion of the slide, you've got a small little area, a couple cars are parked there. Well, that really kind of speaks to what the plan will want to try to achieve, and that is to keep the cars off of the areas where we want people. And you'll see some of the concepts or a concept for that right now in a little bit. But Jason mentions to us, and we had talked to people that in the public hearings, we also talked with other folks on the team just about that. We walked the site and we really started to really embrace the site and kind of understand what we wanted to try to do there for your community and how we could make it better serve the visitors and the residents of Van Buren. But more importantly, how can we segregate the cars from the people, and how can we entertain and activate the open space that is virtually unused, we'll say. Seasonally it's used, but virtually it remains unused, and most of the people travel to the back sections of the park. So I believe you guys all have the master plan, or at least a conceptual master plan in front of you. But let's start along the service drive, as I mentioned. What we'd like to do there is clean up the brush. Jason had mentioned a little bit of effort that he's going through and essentially removing that section where you see the letter F, removing some trees and shrubs in that area so that you can promote the views internally to the park. Also, in heading westbound, you can't really see the lovely sign that you folks just put in until you're upon it and beyond it. So this would afford a little bit a better sight line into the park and probably add a little safety to that as well as people are entering the park. Along the frontage of the park, it'll be similar, not the same, and we don't really know what it's going to look like ultimately, but it's going to look, we'll say, like French Landing, okay? It's got a vinyl fence, it's got piers, it's got some landscaping, and we really just wanted to kind of energize that edge, to make it exciting for people to enter, make it visible so people can slow down, and then having the sign, better visibility of the sign gives you that opportunity for a safe entry into the park. So as you enter into the park, the guard shack is going to remain the same. We're going to kind of improve that a little bit. It needs a little bit of care. We'll retain the 2 spaces that are adjacent to that, to the immediate immediate west. Further down that entrance drive, we've added a new drive approach into a 23-car parking lot, and that's going to serve the letter A, which is a new community garden area. It's approximately 6,000 square feet. It'll be fenced. It'll be controlled access so that the folks that are actually paying to participate in your program, have the ability to protect their goods from folks that like to do some early harvesting. And deer included. So we want to make sure that we have that fenced to keep all the riffraff out, including the wildlife. To the south of that, we got a little pavilion, which is going to have a little picnic component to it. And then also we're thinking about a tool shed so that the folks that are actually gardening there can bring their tools there. Again, controlled access to that, but I think just another welcoming opportunity for people to engage in that community event that you have. And I think people use it right now. I mean, it's full. It's just, it needs a little care and needs, quite honestly, needs to be relocated because it basically encourages people to drive back toward the maintenance area, which I think is sort of non-public. We want to keep the people out of there and keep that secure for Jason and his folks back in that area. So continuing on, you've got a little bit of open space in Area B, and again, just informal picnic gathering areas. We didn't get into a lot of site furniture and things like that. It's something we'll discover in the next phase. Along the entrance drive on both sides, we're going to continue with our vinyl fence and masonry piers at approximately 60 feet or so. Well, that's yet to be determined. But that's to deter cars from parking on the edge and also driving onto the open space and gathering areas. We have the Iron Bell Trail also along the area, which is that right there, and then it continues to the west along the service drive. But more importantly, that's a real nice connection, as you folks know, leading folks, regionally into the park system. So activating the front part of the park, I think, is important to encourage not only people to enter, but to stay and to really make some opportunities for revenue generation, which we'll get into in a little bit. Further down that entrance drive, we've got a 70-car parking lot, that is subdivided into 2 sections and focusing on a larger pavilion. We don't know exactly, but maybe it's 20 by 40. But that is going to be a covered picnic area as well as having 2 family restrooms on the east side of that. All accessible, as Jason mentioned. Our goal is to make the park, honestly, with the DNR's requirement, to make the park 100% accessible. And not only from an ADA standpoint, but universally accessible so that it becomes less evident that if you are physically disabled or have a stroller or have whatever other concerns, then it's not evident that you need to go a particular location. So that's what universal design accomplishes. The pathway system, just meandering pathways through the park, connecting not only to the Iron Bell Trail, but also other amenities within the park. I think a couple of things highlighted, as I mentioned, the picnic shelter to the south, a small grill area, and the letter R is going to be, or perceived to be, a small playground, or maybe it's a couple of playgrounds for 2 to 5-year-olds, the tot lots, and then the 5 to 12-year-olds, a larger user group. Don't know exactly the size of that, but we'll work with vendors to accommodate whatever size that we need to make it safe for the folks using that. The sledding hill, as Jason mentioned, it's going to be improved, but more importantly, the letter Q, we're creating a bunny hill. So the little kids aren't going to get run over by the bigger kids. Much like you do in playground design, you keep the small kids away from the big kids. So that's kind of what we're doing here, and Jason's also entertaining some interest there to clear that out, to make that hopefully available if Jason gets gets busy, we'll get it ready for the first snowfall. Right, Jason?
We'll see what the snowfall actually comes.
About today.
Yeah, we don't have snowfall yet, who knows? But, it's the west facing of the sledding hill currently is a little bit difficult to maintain the snow cover, as you all know. So inside the park area too, connecting with the pathway systems, which will be about a 6-foot walkway. If you've walked along French Landing or even on Cork Park, a 6-foot concrete walkway is really what was developed there. But we have two smaller pavilions, one say 32 feet, which is the center one, and the one closer to the maintenance area is going to be a 24-foot structure, open air structure, prefabricated structure, and we can use a vendor supplied product that we've used on other parks in your system. The highlight of that central area is that area right there, letter K, excuse me. And that's a concrete, what's called a fit court. And it's a vendor supplied item, it can be, but it's an accessible fitness area. That was a highlight, but a lot of people mentioned, what about fitness? What about walking? So, even the walking paths are a means of exercise, certainly. But with the various loops and distances that I think can accommodate, whomever wants to navigate through the park. So that's a key component. And also adjacent to that is a small shed, or not a shed, but a small shade structure. So folks that are recreating there, have a little bit of shade, they want to take a break, or they want to wait for some equipment to become available, they have an opportunity to do that without being out in the elements. A couple of the areas, the lighter green, sort of on the edges, we're thinking that we'll work with Jason's group, but what we'd like to do is turn some of those areas into no-mow zones, so that they become not only habitat for wildlife, but they also just take some of that maintenance off of the maintenance role and operation costs. So it'll become we'll call it, I usually call it a meadow lawn, where the lawn would just grow. Could be the existing turf that there is now, but the opportunity just to, again, reduce the amount of maintenance that's required within the park. We got a lot of open space. We haven't really gone through and really digested exactly where those areas are, how large they become, but there are probably going to be other areas that will introduce into these no-mow zones, which I think is a nice edge and buffer to all the active uses internally to the park. One of the things that we want to try to do also adjacent to the Iron Bell Trail and where the service drive comes in for the maintenance building is create a marked entrance. We don't know exactly what that looks like, but we want it to be gated. Maybe it's a remote control device, maybe it's some element like that. So the public isn't encouraged to go back into that area, and actually deterred to go back into that area. So that's something that we'll look at as the plan develops in the future. But the important thing here is that we have a park, front part of the park, which is, y'all know that the park is gorgeous. I mean, going back into the meats of the park is really wonderful. But we've created native plantings that are going to create that canopy, that third dimension for folks to enjoy and participate and just kind of hang out. But to activate this space, I think it will encourage people to, not only come to this portion of the park, but also encourage them to continue to come to the Van Buren Park as a whole. So isolating, as previously seen in the existing conditions, isolated uses have been changed. Now we have connectivity on the east and west sides of the park. We've got strong pedestrian connections as well throughout the park. I'll entertain any questions.
Questions?
Looks good. Gonna be there tomorrow?
It can be, as long as we get all that DDA money they're about to spend.
So none of this is budgeted, but as this board knows as well as anybody, If you don't have a plan on on what you want to build, nobody will give you grant money. So the first thing is you got to develop a master plan, you've got to develop a system to get where you want to get, and then you basically start looking for grants, such as a low-hanging fruit might be the community gardens. That could even probably be a local group that could pick that up and through volunteer hours and some money could develop what we envision that to be, which we have specs for that.
Right.
So we're we're reloading the barrel here to go after some more grants and things like that. We've done amazingly well. We've got Iron Bell Trail going on. You've got Pickle Park you put in, the Splash Park. You're redoing the Quirk Park with new pavilions. We did French Landing Park. We've got Haggerty Sub is getting a new park and ready for ribbon cutting, or maybe in the spring if it's too cold.
All weather dependent.
Yeah. So it's we've got a new road there in Van Buren Park, and we've got new pavilions there, new bathroom. We've got a new beach. It just a lot of stuff going on. Thank you. And I know, Mark, you've been part of a lot of that. So yes.
Happy to be a part of it.
Any questions? Any thoughts? No. Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on. We're in public comment portion of the meeting. Does anybody wish to make any public comments? Come on up. Yeah, he's just moving out.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Dana Domer. I live on Crowley Road, and I'm back to get an update on the drift racing on Robson Road.
I did not get an update this week on it yet, but we do know it's in court. We do know that they're fighting, and it is not once it goes to court, then that's when we're going to make another move, and I believe that's going to be within the next week or so. Okay.
All right, just trying to keep
Sorry, bad week. It's opening season. You know how that is in Michigan. I can't find anybody. All right. Anybody else wish to make comment? Oh, Reggie.
Comment a little bit on Van Buren Park. There's really a lack of maintenance up there with who's ever been in charge for the past 10 years or so. A lot of the overgrowth he's talking about is stuff that they should have been cutting down before it gets real big. You know, when a tree's like this, eventually it gets bigger. Whoever runs that park don't know that. And all the brush along the driveway that's all crowding the road, that stuff's been there for years. And, you know, some years ago it was like that. Now it's bigger. The flagpole's still not fixed there. They let the flagpole go to hell there. The flag was on the ground, a rope was busted. I come and reported it here not too long ago. I don't think they fixed it yet.
You better be.
I have yet to see a damn bicycle on the Bell Trail. I mean, I seen a motorcycle on it down at the park last weekend, but I have not seen a damn bicycle on that Bell Trail.
I have not been down there.
I think you really missed the boat when you put the water park here. That should have been put in Van Buren Park. And then you got people in that park. That's probably, if you do a traffic count, that's probably one of our least visited parks. And now you want to dump millions of dollars in the entrance, that's going to get the people in there, you think, I guess. I don't know. But it's crazy. You know, here you talk about spending all this damn money on park. I never see a bike on the damn Bell Trail. I never see anybody at the park. I think we need to investigate that water that comes up off the lake into there. Let's do some soil testing, water testing there before you start inviting people up around the front there.
Okay, we have tested the water. It's good. We've tested the soil. It's good.
Well,
Right where you're saying.
You tell me you tested.
Yeah, because of where the water comes from, we did test it recently, within 2 months ago.
I want to take you somewhere.
Okay.
You tell me it's.
Okay, all right. And we agree with you. We're not spending more money on this park. We're looking for grants right now.
Yeah, well, it's still my
there's truth to that, but we're gonna go after it. No. Is there anybody else who wishes to make public comment at this point in time? No? No? Okay. We're moving on to unfinished business, which we have none. We have two items today. First item is a new business, discussion and consider approval of adjusting the capital outlay road initiative for Morton Taylor Road. Can I get a motion?
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Motion to approve adjusting the capital outlay road initiative projected 2025 budget line item 271-871-005 from $0 to $850,000 for the Morton Taylor paving project.
Support.
Trustee Boynton. Okay, Director Akers.
Thank you. Good evening. Township staff is requesting an increase in the 2025 projected budget for the roads capital outlay line item in the landfill fund from $0 to $850,000 to make the required payment in the intergovernmental agreement between the township and the county for the paving of Morton Taylor Road between Tyler and Ecorse. In the IGA, it requires that the township pay 50% of its $1.7 million obligation upon execution of the agreement, and due to this, we will need to make the initial payment during the 2025 fiscal year. This IGA was approved by the board at an October meeting. The funding will be utilized from landfill fund, and any remaining funding will be paid in fiscal year 2026 upon completion of the project. That completes my summary, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Go ahead.
So I guess I got a question on this. So, I know that at one time we was looking at paving having a portion of Morton Taylor Road paving. So I guess so Wayne County is saying that how much does it cost to pave the road from Tyler?
$3.5 million. Our engineers estimated 3.5. The county engineers think that it can be done for far less.
Yes.
So they want us to chip in 850.
No, 1.7 million. They want us to chip in up to
1.7.
$1.7 million. Up to.
Up to, okay. So Wayne County went from doing 0 to now they want to charge us. At first, we couldn't do anything to the roads. Now they want to charge us for doing something that they supposed to do.
That is
I don't
very
know.
true.
I know Morton Taylor Road need paving. I'll be the first one to say it need paving, but I don't know. It's just a hard pill to swallow when it comes to Wayne County and what they do, because there's so much stuff around here that's Wayne County roads and don't get any support. I understand we have to do something, maybe look at it, but it just seems like if we either get zero or a hero.
There's no hero anymore in roads. Okay, so Gretchen Whitmer, bless her heart, fixed the damn roads, fixed the damn state roads. Didn't fix the local roads. Didn't really send money down to the local roads. The new round is supposed to start doing that. So what little was sent down to the county basically started you want a road fixed, you got to basically pony up. Haggerty Road's an example. We had to put in what, $600,000?
It was 400, but
$400,000, but we also had to go up and down the line there and knock on the businesses' doors, and we got Ashley Capital to kick in $1 million, because that was our share, 1.5 million, I think. And otherwise we wouldn't have gotten a Haggerty Road done. And now they're coming to us and saying we have a one-time $1.7 million if you match $1.7 million to change. Actually, it was $1 million to change out a dirt road to a hardtop road, which would be asphalt, I'm sure. So the question, went back and says we don't want it because it's a 3.5 million. If you give us $1 million, we got to come up with 2.5. And then they came back and says, listen, we'll pay, we'll pay 1.7, you pay 1.7, but we will guarantee your 1.7. If it goes to 3.6, we'll pay that overage. So the question the board has is, do you want to do that? If it's under that 1.7, they will continue matching money until we hit our 1.7, so we can go do Tyler Road, do all the, I told them, I just want to save what we got. I want to crack everything we can, tar.
I mean, I know it need done, but my thing is that, I've been in Clay for 17 years. I remember back in, like 2012-ish, they repaved Tyler Road. And they have did it, and now it's cracking down the center.
They repaved it.
Well, they redid Tyler Road because they redid, some smart engineer ran the water main underneath Tyler Road.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything wrong with the road, but they had to tear it up to enlarge the water main. So they redid Tyler Road. Now, 2 years later, it started splitting down the center of it. And everybody that rides down Tyler Road, you know now, you got about a half a foot gap just where it's splitting. I've been on Wayne County for about 8 years now to fix that before it get bigger, any bigger. And nothing's being done.
No. No, and we looked into doing it ourselves, I think it was $60,000. And that was during the negotiations with this thing. And they basically said, listen, it's probably not gonna hit 1.7 million. If it doesn't, we'll keep on kicking money in until it does. And we started saying, well, we want this road done and this road done and this road done. So
So in the
it
intergovernmental,
was the first one. We want it cracked. And we want it crack sealed. That's what I said. That's what you told me to say.
Yeah, but crack field now is probably gonna take, you're gonna have to go down a whole section
Well,
and
it's
take
pretty
it out.
cold for that, yeah. It's next year. The question to the board is, do you want to, I mean, you're not going to get roads changed over at all unless you kick in. And here we have an opportunity to kick in and get one changed over.
I hear you. I'm not saying I won't, I'm just saying it's a hard pill to swallow for me.
I'm sorry?
How does this affect our budget?
So we're taking 850 out this year and 850 out next year. Quite frankly, if it wasn't for the fact that we're sitting on, we're waiting for a $1.5 million reimbursement grant, we'll have a surplus this year of about 1.5. I believe, it may be more, but I believe that we're headed that way.
So we'll have a.
So we'll have the money. We'll have the money in this year's budget. Depends on if we get that money for the grant we already spent. It's coming from the state and the federal government and shutdown and all that stuff. Now, technically, as long as we get it before, what, February, I think, we can apply it to this year's budget because it was expensed in this year's budget.
That's, what's
to
the
them
name?
too.
Oh, I thought there was somebody else.
And
back there talking.
it's been a long time applied for. It's been what? When did we ask for the money? Okay. So what was that, June?
June-ish.
So it's due. It's way overdue.
Okay, I done said my piece.
Okay, is there any other questions then on this? Okay. Also, there is a small development issue, not issue. There's a small development that may take place on, should I bring that up? Yeah, I already have, Tyler and Morton Taylor Road. So we will insist that that developer, whoever it is, kick in a couple $100,000, $200,000-$300,000 to this as part of our 1.7 million. And I believe that we're absolutely in the right, and they'd be foolish not to do it, because we could actually force the whole thing on them.
Developer and Morton Taylor and Tyler.
The original guy never pulled out. He's resold it, or he's not resold it. He's self-performing, I think now. Yeah.
Oh, you wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So it may not be as bad as that. All right. I hear no further discussion. I've got a motion by trustee Martin, is supported by trustee Boynton.
Yep.
Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the first reading of an ordinance for the adoption of the third amendment to the Development and Tax Increment Finance Plan. Could somebody make that motion and read it?
Through the chair.
Trustee Boynton.
Move to approve of ordinance 11-18-25, number 1, the adoption of the third amendment to the Development and Tax Increment Finance Plan for the Van Buren Township DDA.
Support. Got support by Trustee Kelly. All right, you can make this the Cliff Note version since we just did it during the public hearing.
Absolutely. So just as a refresher, the plan is currently in place till 2038. This is an amendment to add projects that came out of our safe streets in our Belleville Road corridor and to reflect the growth in the district since 2009, updated cost estimates, and updated tax revenue capture spreadsheets. The Development Area Citizens Council has met. They have met with the DDA board for a joint session, and then again last night to approve the plan. The DDA board has approved the plan. The public hearing notice was mailed to all taxing entities as well as to each property owner within the DDA district. It was published in the newspaper twice. It was posted in 21 different locations in the district, and those comply with PA 57 requirements. So after this, we'll do a second reading with an adoption at the next board meeting, and then the ordinance will be published in the Belleville Independent as well, and then Muni Code would be updated and updated on the website.
Okay, are there any questions?
Quick
Hearing,
question. Yeah, this got to do with something regarding something else that you're doing. When is the sidewalks on the south side of Tyler Road going to start, you know?
Those are projected to start next spring. We are still waiting for the environmental to, through NEPA. Once we have that, we'll be able to go to bid.
all right. So I have a motion by Trustee Boynton, supported by Trustee Kelly. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
We have no reports today. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to make comment on any item that they want to talk about? Anybody from the public? Hearing none, we're going to go to board comments. Is anybody from the board that wishes to make comment? Hearing none, can I have a motion for adjournment? Mr. Boynton, Mr. Frazier, Trustee Frazier. I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.